Hi guys, Joseph here, and today we're gonna do a quick rundown of the C1000 on the Cat. So this is an older Cat. What you see on the newer Challengers, it's completely different, but the basic and the setup is almost the same, or the information on the screen gonna be basically the same. It's just look different in its touch screen and all that good stuff. So on this one, it's not the case. So you have this little knob here that you can choose. It's basically your menu options. As you turn it, it will bring you to different pages. So the main pages that the most important that we're going to be talking to today is of course this one. This is the main page. It shows you the miles per hour, the slippage on the tracks, the engine RPM, the hydraulics, when it's the SVC, when they're on, it will show you in a bar graph which gear you are. In this case we are on park, but if I change the leveler, now it's on neutral. If I push forward, it will be on number 5, and here are my gears. I can switch to a lower gear to take off, and that will go higher as I move forward. So, and then, but this is basically your transmission deal here, where you change your gears. So back, they're gonna go to reverse, neutral, and forward. And this way, far right, it's park. So always put on park when the tractor is at still. Don't put on park when it's still moving, otherwise you can ruin the transmission. So, and then here, this tractor we have set up with our air compressor, which is pretty awesome. And it shows us the pressure on the PSI on our compressor system. So this is the main page. If I move it over here, it will show us the pressure on the tracks left and right. As you can see, the left track, we have to increase that pressure on those tracks to match this one here at 3100 PSI. So when you go here, there's a little fuel sign. When you go to that page, basically it's gonna shows you the consumption per hour and the distance travel with that gallon, and how much is consuming basically when you're working, and the percent load on the engine. So there's different things that you can look at in here. I don't gonna go into much detail, but then if we move forward here, you see a percentage there. This is pretty much what you see on the main screen, the percentage rate and the acres per hour, and then your speed. So here's the information. This is basically gives you a engine overall information of the time stand where the engine is running. And then there's a little wrench here that shows us the service records. Everything is preset, so you can see it. Oil change was done 2 hours ago, so another 248 hours they're gonna warn you that it needs an oil change, and everything is pre-set up to remind the operator when a maintenance schedule maintenance is coming up. Oh, this one here is important to know. This is basically just when it comes up a code or something, and the operator needs to take a look on it, he can come into this screen and and enter it and access that code and see what is that code means, or what is that warning means. Here is auto steer on the tractor itself, but we don't have that. Here you can see a little sprocket. That's where we can set up the engine RPM. We have set up at 1700 RPMs. We can adjust it to ground speeds and all that. But most of the time on the planter, I like to set up the engine RPM and maintain that steady. And then you can see here is the hydraulic pistons, and that's one thing that we control on the monitor what we saw earlier when in the vacuum fans and SOD fans. If you want to decrease or increase the RPMs, you go to those screens here and select, let's say vacuum fan, it's on number 3. I select number 3 and then I can increase. You see the number increasing, so that means it will increase the RPMs on the vacuum fans. If I want to decrease, I scroll it down and you see the numbers changing. It's gonna decrease the RPM. When we use that, is basically to control the vacuum. On corn, we have a set, but on soybeans it's crucial that sometimes we have to play with the vacuum to maintain a nice seed placement. And then we are back on the main page, and that's the home page.